Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, we would like to talk about the role of non-Arab Muslims, Mawali, in the Abbasid Revolution. What is Mawali? The Mawali were non-Arab converts to Islam. The term Mawali originally referred to freed slaves who enter into a patronage relationship with their former master. Over time, it came to encompass non-Arab converts to Islam. As Islam spread rapidly beyond the Arabian Peninsula, many Persians, Berbers, Central Asians, and others convert to Islam, becoming Mawali under Arab tribes. Non-Arab Muslims, known as Mawali, were a key part of the Abbasid Revolution and the establishment of the Abbasid Caliphate in 750th century. The Mawali were primarily Persians, Central Asians, and other non-Arab groups who had embraced Islam. Many of them were highly educated and skilled, contributing significantly to the intellectual and cultural development of the Islamic world. Why the Mawali play a significant role in the Abbasid Revolution? They play a significant role because they support the Abbasid revolution by forming a large part of the revolutionary forces, which marked the overthrow of the Umayyad Caliphate and the establishment of the Abbasid dynasty. From the Umayyad rule to the Abbasid rule, discontent with the Umayyad Caliphate's preference for Arab Muslims and its treatment of Mawali as second-class citizens drove them to support the Abbasids, who promised greater inclusivity. The revolution's success was largely due to the efforts of Persian Muslims, particularly in Khorasan and other eastern regions of the Islamic Empire.
Alright, so now you know who are actually the Mawali people, right? But have you ever wondered why they decided to support Abbasid instead of Umayyad? What are actually the reasons of them doing that? Let's find out together. The Mawali or the non-Arab Muslim played a very significant role in the rise of the Abbasid Caliphate. Support from them was based on various grounds that mainly were social, political, and religious injustice during the Umayyad era. So, let's delve deeper into the factors that motivated the Mawali to support the Abbasid Caliphate. The first one is discrimination during the Umayyad Caliphate. Umayyad Caliphate government's policies had practiced favoritism by favoring certain tribes over others, especially Arabs, that can cause conflicts and resentment among the Mawali people. Due to this Arab Muslim superiority, Mawali were excluded from the positions of power and influence. And also, they being the non-Arab converts were often treated as second-class citizens despite their commitment to Islam. One of the most glaring examples that can display how worse the discrimination towards Mawali in the Umayyad Caliphate is the imposition of the jizya tax. Normally, this tax was reserved for non-Muslim under Islamic rule. However, even after embracing Islam, the Mawali were unfairly burdened with this tax. Next factor of why Mawali decided to support Abbasid is because equality was promised by the Abbasids. In contrast to the Umayyad Caliphates, the Abbasids promote the idea of equality among all Muslims, regardless of their ethnic or cultural backgrounds. This principle resonated deeply with the Mawali, who were really looking for recognition and fair treatment within the Muslim community. This promise also was not just political, but it was a commitment to fulfilling Islamic values of justice and equality. It is because the Abbasids promised to eliminate Arab exclusivity and create a more inclusive society where non-Arabs also could participate in governance, scholarship, and leadership roles. The third factor is because the Abbasid really emphasized on religious and cultural matters. For information, the Umayyads were often criticized for being portrayed as worldly minded and materialism, which led to a neglect of Islamic principles in governance and also policy making. Therefore, the Abbasids take this opportunity to present themselves as a true protector of Islam. They emphasize a return to religious value and promise to govern according to Islamic principles, including fairness, justice, and also accountability. Another significant factor was the Abbasids' determination to bring on economic justice. The Mawali faced heavy financial burdens under the Umayyad Caliphate, including unfair taxation, as I have mentioned previously, the jizya tax, and also the limited opportunities for economic advancement. The Mawali also were persuaded by the Abbasids' promise, which is to do reforms including fairer taxation policies that would relieve the Mawali from oppressive practices, and again, the jizya tax. Furthermore, the Abbasid Caliphate ensured to redistribute wealth among the Mawali to create a more balanced economic system which aligned with the interests of the Mawali, because many of them were merchants, artisans, and traders that were seeking fair opportunity to survive during that period. The last factor of Mawali supporting Abbasid is cultural flourishing. Finally, the Abbasids encouraged the word of Persian and other non-Arab cultures, which resonated with many Mawali. While the Umayyads largely celebrated Arab traditions, the Abbasids embraced the rich cultural heritage of their non-Arab subjects, including art, science, and literature. The Abbasids also encouraged their contributions, creating an environment where intellectual and cultural achievement flourished. However, this cultural appreciation wasn't merely a symbolic, but in fact it has become the foundation for the Abbasid Caliphate's golden age, which significantly advanced in Islamic civilization.
The Mawali, non-Arab Muslims, played a transformative role in shaping the Abbasid era politically, economically, and socially. Politically, the Mawali rose to prominence with Abu Muslim leading the Abbasid revolution against the Umayyad dynasty. Khorasan became their stronghold, providing critical support for the Abbasid rise to power. Under the new regime, the Mawali finally gained representation in governance, breaking free from Arab exclusivity. Economically, they strengthened the empire by excelling as merchants, artisans, and also administrators. The expertise in taxation and record-keeping stabilized the vast Abbasid bureaucracy. Socially, Mawali scholars, poets, and scientists fueled the Islamic Golden Age and contributing to advancement in mathematics, medicine, and also philosophy. With Abbasid support for equality, they enjoyed greater social mobility and acceptance. The Mawali were not just contributors, but they were architects of the Abbasid empires during legacy.
In the 8th century, the Islamic world underwent a profound transformation. Central to this change were the Mawali non-Arab converts to Islam, whose contributions reshaped society, governance, and culture. The Mawali championed inclusivity, advocating for equality among Muslims irrespective of ethnicity. Their efforts transitioned Islam from an Arab-centric faith to a universal religion, diminishing Arab exclusivity in governance and society. Their support was pivotal during the Abbasid Revolution. By aligning with the Abbasids, the Mawali played a key role in overthrowing the Umayyad dynasty, leading to a more inclusive Islamic governance. Under Abbasid rule, the Mawali integrated into administrative and military roles, enhancing effective governance. They introduced Persian and Central Asian cultural elements, enriching the Abbasid court and society. The Islamic Golden Age blossomed thanks in part to the Mawali's intellectual contributions. Scholars like Al-Khwarizmi, the father of algebra, and Al-Razi, a pioneer in medicine and chemistry, were instrumental in advancing knowledge. They translated Greek, Persian, and Indian texts, preserving global knowledge and fostering intellectual growth. The Mawali also advanced trade and commerce, connecting the Islamic empire to the wider world and facilitating economic prosperity. The legacy of the Mawali is profound. Their contributions laid the foundation for a prosperous, inclusive, and intellectually vibrant Islamic civilization, the effects of which resonate to this day.
So you guys already hear about the factors, the role and the contributions of Mawali in the Abbasid dynasty. So let's move on to conclusion. From all the perspective, we can conclude that the support of Mawali or non-Arab Muslims was essential in transforming the caliphate from an Arab-centric state to a more universal empire. They made significant contributions and their involvement laid the foundation for a more inclusive and welcoming Islamic society throughout the Abbasid era. And from all of this, we can also see the rise of the Abbasid symbolized a turning point in Islamic history. It shows a strong influence of Persian culture and administrations, largely due to the prominent role of Persian Mawali. This cultural synthesis led to what is often referred to as the Islamic Golden Age. The increased prominence of Persian culture and the flourishing of intellectual and scientific pursuits in the Abbasid era can be traced back to the integration of the Mawali and their contributions.